Am I the asshole? By the way, still Batman shirt, still have a cold. I apologize if I sound kind of gross, but it is what it is. Am I the asshole for telling my husband I'm done with his help around the house? Oh boy, we have a weaponized incompetence post, most likely. Let's be real. This is going to be a weaponized incompetence post. My husband and I have been together for 8 years and married for 5. We both work full time, so we've always split household chores. But here's the thing. His version of helping is a nightmare. Here we go. For example, I'll ask him to help with laundry. He'll agree, listen, I'm sick. I'm not going to put the quotations over every help. I'm weak. I can't get my arms up past, it's rough. He'll agree, but instead of sorting things like delicates or checking pockets, he just throws everything into the washer on one setting. This has ruined clothes and stained things beyond repair. Same thing happens in the kitchen. He helps by making a mess while cooking, but he leaves everything piled up in the sink and somehow manages to dirty every dish and pan. Well, the first one I understand. I'll say this. We usually do like the person that cooks, and that means the person that didn't cook is the one that runs the dishwasher. But I don't know. He could be a particularly messy cooker. I'll tell you what, I am too. I really just need like a gigantic kitchen with like a flat top or something, so that way I hardly ever have to use dishes. I know that a flat top can be dirty, but the idea of just using that as like the main cooking thing and not going through a bunch of pots and pans, if possible, maybe that would help me, but I feel you. I understand what you're getting at here. I've tried teaching him, suggesting easier ways, even leaving little checklists, but he always says how he knows what he's doing and dismisses my advice. I end up spending double the time either fixing what he did or doing things over from scratch. And whenever I bring it up, he says he's trying his best or accuses me of being too picky and controlling. I will say this. Before anyone gets upset and says, well, there is a chance that she could be too picky. We don't know what their personal life is like. Yes, that is the case, which is why every time I say this, I say that if that is the case, that's the case. But he could truly be weaponizing his incompetence. It could go both ways. I understand that. I don't know these people, but if assuming everything is true here, you're obviously not the asshole. Obviously. It's just it's weaponized incompetence. This came to a head recently when he helped me by cleaning up our living room right before my friends came over. I thought he'd done a great job until one of my friends found my birth control pills in the junk drawer because he decided to tidy by throwing everything into random places. I was embarrassed, but when I told him, he laughed it off. And by the way, in regards to this weaponized incompetence thing, he truly just could be bad at these chores. That's the thing. That's the thing that I think we need to think about here, because some people think like it's intentional, like it's always nefarious. There's times where it probably is nefarious. Like they're probably just doing it so that you never ask them to do stuff again. But then there's also people that are just bad at household chores because maybe they grew up in a household where their mom pretty much babied them. I've had friends like this where like my first roommate didn't know how to work a washer and a dryer. And that's because his mom, not only did she wash and dry his clothes, but she folded them and all this other, like he just didn't have chores growing up, which is strange. And so that made it so whenever we were roommates, he was like genuinely confused at the idea of washing his clothes and folding them. He would just pile his clothes on the floor at the end of the day. And he would put his clothes in the washer and then he would forget. But then he wouldn't like rewash it. So the clothes would sit for like days. And, I would wash during the weekends because I was busy working my job. So I wouldn't even notice until the weekend. So his clothes would sit for days. And then he'd be like, whatever, throw them in the dryer. So then his clothes would be like, they'd smell bad. You know what I mean? Because he would just throw them in the dryer instead of trying to rewash them. He'd just throw them in the dryer and they'd all smell like they'd been wet for like a week. There's some dudes that just like, I don't know, they're babied by their moms. So they just don't know how to do absolutely basic stuff. And then I think about my childhood and how we never had a dishwasher. So I had to wash the dishes by hand. Like it's crazy to live like my entire adult life. I've never lived in a place that didn't have a dishwasher. And it's just like a strange transition because it's like, damn, this is nice. I remember having to wash the dishes every time. My mom used to do this thing where she's like, we can split the dishwashing duties. But here's the deal. If you mess up any dishes, you have to rewash the dishes. And like clockwork, she would always find something extremely minor, like a stain on a fork that wasn't really a stain. It was like a water stain. She'd be like, dirty, wash again. I wash the dishes like 80% of the time. But now I have a dishwasher and it's like not even a chore because it's just you're putting things in a dishwasher. So maybe she was onto something there. So last night I told him I'm done with his help and would rather just do everything myself if he's not willing to do things properly. He got upset saying he's just trying to make things easier for me and now I'm criticizing him for helping. Now he's barely speaking to me and I'm feeling conflicted. Am I the asshole for telling my husband to stop helping if he can't help do things right? No. And also, he's giving me the silent treatment, which is something that I hate on both sides of the spectrum. But men and women that do the silent treatment thing instead of talking, stop. Grow up. Sometimes I do it too. Although not as much anymore. But I've done that too, and it's childish. It's childish. Weaponized incompetence. Okay, I'm glad somebody brought that up. Almost immediately. Sort by controversial, find a man who's like, you sound like a bitch. Am I the only one wondering why the heck was your friend looking into your drawers? Get your husband in here. Let's hear his version. Nope, I'm also wondering this. Her list of his offending things is laughably mild. What if it's just like, here's the thing, right? And I'm going to run this by you. Like, the tables that we have in the living room, we would put coasters in the drawers. So if we have friends that are coming over, they know they take a coaster from, that's where the coasters are. Now, if I put birth control pills in there, or, I don't know, a condom, then it'd be like, ooh, embarrassing. Why were OP's pills in the living room and need to be put in the junk drawer to begin with? That is interesting too. Oh, look at this. Maybe they were playing a game where you have to keep score and they needed a pen. OP was getting the game out and said, there's pens in the junk drawer right there. Yeah, maybe, or maybe not. Maybe the husband isn't as bad as OP made him sound either. I like that you heard that and you just like completely negated. Like this is actually a valid thing that this person is saying. That literally could have been the case. Oh, a pen? Or playing Scrabble? I don't know, some shit I need to keep score? Playing Yahtzee? Oh, there's a pen. Oh, birth control pills. Embarrassing. You guys have sex? Ew. But like, it's a possibility. The laundry thing is weird. In your household, you empty own pockets before putting it into the laundry. We then put everything in on one setting. If you have something special, you keep it separate. Asshole is person who don't empty their own pockets. I mean, we don't have super specific. We don't have super specific washer rules, but the clearing out your pockets thing is an obvious thing. You're the asshole for letting him get away with this crap. Ah, yes, the classic controversial comment of, I'm going to blame the person. I'm going to do the old victim blaming. Why are your birth control pills left laying around in the living room? Why is it all her fault? A lot of the questions are just asking while the birth control pills are out. It would be funny if he was just like, the birth control pills were on her nightstand and he went to go clear it off, but he like, for some reason moved them out. I don't know. We need to know the whole story. But it does kind of sound like he maybe is just kind of bad at everything. The clothes, some people just don't know. The dishes, funny. But he does cook. But maybe he's cooking a lot. I don't know, man. It is weird. I'll say this. There is a chance that you could be too picky, but it's too hard to tell from a story like this. He's not checking pockets, but you should clear your pockets, Because it's annoying to go through everyone's pockets. I don't know. You could be too picky, could not. I'll say need more information. Let's get his side in here. Let's pull him in. I've changed my mind. But it could be weaponized incompetence. I don't know. But if I just throw out weaponized incompetence, then I'm going to get these comments from people who are like, but you wouldn't say this if it was a woman. It was flipped. And it was like, maybe I would, but then I'd still be in the same situation because I need to hear both sides. Isn't that just the joy of this goddamn subreddit? You always need the other side. Like 90% of the time. But if he truly is awful, then he's awful. It really is just that simple. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one.